Man, I'm getting mixed messages here because I can't tell if you hate it and it's terrible, but you just don't think terrible things are a problem. That like you just think like this is what life is. Yeah, of course it was the worst thing I've ever tasted. Like every morning when I wake up is the worst day of my life.
Hello and welcome to the Answers of Lemon, the smartest icebreakers from the dumbest dudes. Are you at the checkout counter buying a little bit of alcohol for you and maybe your friends? Do you want to engage the cashier with some weird questions and maybe get to know them a little bit better? Well, you can also use these weird questions in so many other settings, including school, office work, family gatherings, igloo building contests, beach trips. That's it. To help guide you through this is the one, the only, the man who asks these weird questions in public and gets positive responses, your god of VOD, Connor.
They're also good in other settings, like audio and display. And I'm drawing a blank on the third setting. Background?
HDMI 3.
HDMI 3, of course. It's good for all those kinds of settings.
We have 3 HDMI ports on our TV, and we only use one of them. And then because I run a splitter to that has 3 HDMI ports.
So you're currently operating on a 5 HDMI port system through a single HDMI?
A 3 through a single
but
HDMI.
You've got 2 unused ones also. That's math.
Yeah, no.
That's math.
I don't think it's 5 on 1. I think it's 3 on 1 plus 2.
That is math. Oh, good.
So if this were an equation, it would be parenthetical 3 times 1 close parenthetical plus 2.
I'm a visual learner, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, I am too. I
don't really know what I am.
We have a guest tonight.
I'm not really.
It is the cat
not
Salem.
Really any kind of learner. Yeah, I have noticed that there's like a very luxurious, fluffy tail that like goes underneath Evan's nose like a pleasant aroma from a cartoon in the 20s.
She's a perfect girl.
And now she's gone.
I love her to death. We forgot to shout out the person at the beginning of the podcast, so we're gonna record that and try to make it happen, if that's okay with you, Connor. All right, gang, we got some weird questions out in the wild. We've been asking you your answers to our weird questions, and we want to give you a couple that we thought were pretty wonderful. If it's okay with you, Con, I'd like to start real fast. Yeah. So the Weird Question Wednesday was congratulations on being a Pokemon gym leader. What is your typing and what is your badge? And just, this is so succinct and so wonderful. Johnny Draws on TikTok, they said that they're a ghost type gym leader, and they give you the regret badge when beating them. Just, it paints such a wonderful picture. It's like, yes, like what do they call them? They're like angry spirits,
poltergeists.
Yeah, just when they're shackled to earth because they just can't let go. Very good. Thank you, Johnny Draws.
You get sense for the whole gym just based off of that. And on Reddit, on the subreddit r/Pokemon, Bellamy Roselia said synchronized skater themed ice gym.
That's fun. Is all tag battle? Is it tag battles? Duo battles? What the hell are they called?
They didn't say.
Doubles?
But what they did say was the whole gym would be an ice hole. Gym trainers would be skaters, ice hockey players. And the team is Alolan, Ninetales, Lapras, Glaceon, Weavile, Frostlass, and Aurorus, most of which I know.
Yep. I've played Pokemon Unbound. I've caught a lot of the newer boys. That's real fun. I like the idea that they're all double battles too, because it's synchronized
Yeah, yeah,
skating.
the partner style. Yeah, that would be cool.
Thanks, gang. Let us know your answers. You can answer our threads on social media or Reddit, or you can just want to hit us up directly. You can shoot us an email at
lemonanswers@gmail.com.
lemonanswers@gmail.com. All right, back to the podcast. So I have a story for you and our two listeners, if I may just get into it.
Oh yes, Evan, tell me, how have you been, and what stories do you have? Our standard.
This isn't even a how have I been. This is just a straight up story. We'll get into how I've been later. So I got white girl wasted off of free samples at the liquor store.
That sounds like a nice day. As if you leave some space on the other side of it, that could be an awful, awful day. If you're like, man, I gotta go talk to my mom about this serious thing, and I gotta get my errands out of the way. Let me just pick up that one bottle of whiskey, and then all of a sudden you're three sheets to the wind.
Okay, so we can, before I get into my tale, because I'm probably going to be monologuing for a bit, Connor, please provide our two listeners with a little bit of background information about my expertise regarding drinking alcohol in regards to the recency bias.
Well, if I'm thinking my way through it, pretty much every time that I've shared a drink with Evan, virtually or in person, for the last couple of years, he's had a beer, and someone around has been like, "Are you sure you want one of those?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then you get about like three-quarters of the way through it, and then you go, "Whoa, this is hitting me really hard."
I drink non-alcoholic beers. I do not drink very much. So this was an event. So Leah and I are going out to procure provisions for the night for dinner, for we did not want to cook. Instead, we wanted to purchase just a fucking burger so we could just call it a day. So we did a little shopping, and then she's like, this place, okay, so a heads up, quick story. It's called a Packy. It's a package store. It is a New England thing. I'm going to be referring to it as such. You have been forewarned.
And just to explain to people, it's called that because you put the liquor into packages, like you put it in a paper bag. So I don't know. People think that you're just buying water at the liquor store for.
So you can drink in public like any other good New Englander. So Leah's like, hey, I just want to pick up some of this special alcohol that I am interested in. She wanted a specific wine and she wanted a specific cider, and she wanted a specific vodka. So we go to the package store and we start doing our shopping. I am immediately waylaid by the White Claw little like robot hook grippy thing, the claw machine. That's what it's called.
They have those?
Trying to get a free keychain. I was not successful, and Leah dragged me away by my arm.
Oh yeah, because it sounds super illegal. In my mind, it was just cans of White Claw inside.
Oh no, that'd be dope.
Oh well.
So for more background information, I don't think I had much of lunch, if any. If I did, it was probably around noon. It's like currently 6:30 at night.
The storm is a brewing. The way that this is coming through,
Yep.
No lunch, right before dinner. Just gonna pick up a couple of things, and then we'll eat something. Yeah.
So we go, and Leah, first thing she sees is the unexpected joy of the night, which was the hard Mountain Dew alcohol. She has been excited about this prospect since 2020, or whenever they announced it. That, like, the second they announced it, she's like, I want that hard soda in my face right now. So she finally gets a hold of it. So she's walking around all joyous with that. We grab the cranberry vodka that she's after, and then begins the saga of looking for. She was already out of the cider that she wanted. They weren't carrying it, even though the website said it was. So we wanted to see if they had the wine that she wanted. So I asked the gentleman at the cash register, and he's like, oh, it's just over there by the, it was the same aisle as the port. I'm like, it's a white wine. I don't understand why this is with the saccharin reds. So I'm just looking around. Leah's looking around, and we spend a solid 5 to 10 minutes being like, "What the heck is this guy talking about? Where is anything?" So I see another gentleman, and he seems to be speaking with authority. You know, he's got the earbud or whatever. I'm like, "I think you are the general manager of this packy, so I'm going to go ask the man who knows."
An appeal to authority.
So I asked him,
lost, adrift,
Yep.
looking for your special white wine.
"Excuse me, sir, do you sell this wine here?" And he goes, "Oh man, I wish we did." And then I see Leah, I give her a shot. I'm like, "No dice, hon, we got nothing." So Leah comes over, says hello, and the guy says, "You know they have the Baja Blast version of that Mountain Dew too, right?" and she goes, "No, come with me." So he brings her to the Baja Blast version. She makes a quick trade. And then he sees the cranberry vodka in Leah's hand and makes a quick conversation with her. And Leah talks about how much she loves it and whatnot. And he gives us each an eye real fast. And he goes, "You two are cool. Come with me." So he brings us into the tasting room, which had just finished up a whiskey tasting seminar. So there's just a dude who, I don't know if he was done with his shift or if he just didn't feel like working the rest of it, but he was just sitting there with his feet up on his phone. Like general manager walks in, just says, "Hey," no one gives a shit. I'm like, this is cool. And he goes, "All right, you like that cranberry vodka, but try this," and proceeds to pour a full shot for each of us. These tasting pours were not tasting pours. So he gives us a big old serving of some good stuff. We ended up purchasing that one over the one that Leah had already been holding.
Was this an alternative cranberry vodka, or is this a... Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it was even more cranberry and even more tart. It was Leah's shit.
She likes it tart.
So
that's a fact.
Already starting it off super positively. So he's like, "All right, you guys are fun. Now try this." And gives us, and he like starts this guessing game of like, "What do you taste?" And like, "It tastes like an espresso martini." It's like, it's because it's a premixed espresso martini. So that was really good. And then he gave us basically a lime. It was a limeade vodka.
Oh no.
And again, these are all full shots that he's giving us.
Because he's pouring tasters, like he's in seminar mode, where you give like a full shot so that everybody go, and then like leave 50% of it in the thing. But that's for people who waste shit.
Not us. We're firing on all cylinders here. So I take the shot of that limeade vodka, and my immediate thought was a little bit of grenadine in that, and that tastes like a Sonic cherry limeade freeze.
Oh, craving.
So
I'm gonna be jonesing for one of those all day.
There's all these delicious alcohols that he's giving us. I haven't forgotten. I'm getting there. Sorry, I'm getting cues from stage right.
Yeah, I'm so glad that Leah invested in those novelty size cue cards that she just holds up next to that window and then like waves frantically at you and then gives you those hot hints.
So this is the highlight of the night, because I talked big shit apparently, and I now need to call out all of the people on TikTok about this, because Leah said, "Oh, at least he's not making you drink malort," to which I responded, "I'll drink malort." And everybody in there's like, "You're gonna fucking regret that." And I'm like, "Yeah, try me."
Yeah, famously the most disgusting hard liquor on the face of the earth, aside from Everclear, I guess.
I had Everclear before. It was fine. I have never heard of malort before. And I was like, "Yeah, fuck you. I'll go all in on this. We're totally fine." So the guy goes, "All right, man, here it is, and I'm giving you a double." To which I said, "Excuse me, sir, I drink only non-alcoholic beers. I'm already pretty sloshed. Please, not a double."
All right.
So this man gives me a full shot pour Oh, this was already after I gave Leah the last, like, the leftover of my limeade vodka. He gives me a full shot of the malort. I fire that stuff, swallow it. It was fine. I don't understand what's wrong with all of you people online. Malort is not good. It is still the worst thing I've ever drunk, but it's not like it's not that bad. Like, I didn't make a face. I didn't have any feelings. There was no rumblies in my tumblies. Malort isn't as bad as everyone says. It is still the worst thing that I've ever drunk. So I'm calling you out, social media people. Give me your malort stories, because I just think you're weak.
I'm getting mixed messages here, because I can't tell if you hate it and it's terrible, but you just don't think terrible things are a problem. That like you're tolerant. You just think like this is what life is. Yeah, of course it was the worst thing I've ever tasted. Like every morning when I wake up is the worst day of my life. Like that's the message that I'm getting out of this, of like, why should I have something that tastes good?
I think it's that my taste buds are just stronger than everybody else's, not in like the ability to decipher flavors, but in the resiliency to consume.
Yeah, strong, like a brick wall is strong compared to a face. No matter how hard somebody
I'll give you that.
Your taste buds with malort, you'll carry the burden, and you will bear the pain.
So I'm giving the shouts at everybody. Have you ever had it?
You know, I'm pretty sure I have, but I don't remember it, which is too bad.
Like I've never smoked a menthol cigarette, but like I've smoked a gas station cigar and had like menthol cough drops. It just tasted like ashy menthol. Like it was weirdly medicinal. Like, I don't know. It's whatever. But that action, and everyone's like, "Are you okay? Like you seem fine." It's like, "'Cause I am fine." We started talking about the worst alcohols that we ever had. And I'm like, yeah, it is the worst one that I ever had. It is still only a step it is still just a step below Van Gogh peanut butter and jelly vodka. To which this man looks me dead in the face and goes, "Ah, oh, dude, that's my favorite."
Whoa. This is a lost soul.
Yup.
Whoa.
Yup. The stuff that I bought your God of Odd for his wedding as a gag gift to make him drink on the happiest day of his life. I had to special order this through my uncle from another state. To get this to him.
It's been outlawed.
And this man is like, because he's like, "Oh, I was so excited when they were like, it sucked that they were getting rid of it, but like I was so excited because like I just bought it all on cheap and I was making peanut butter jelly shots for everybody." And then we started talking about, as Connor knows, the Packy from my hometown, where we would go in our early to mid 20s and buy whatever was on clearance there. And he knew all of the big hitters. This man was cut from the same cloth as us.
Wow.
He was getting bowls. He was getting the purple drink. He was getting love. I mean, evil.
No one's ever heard of that stuff.
He fucking blanched when I told him that you drink that every Christmas and are starting to appreciate it.
Yeah, it goes in my eggnog every single time. It's this bizarre spiced liqueur. And it glows in the dark. Yep. Not the actual liquor. That would be really cool. But the bottle. And it looks like a skull. It's great.
Yep. But he saw the face of God when I told him about you, and he blinked. He brought up Sammy Hagar rum. He brought up the Ron Jeremy vodka. And the thing that beyond all of it surprised me more than anything was that he knew our friend from high school, Joey.
Well, that's the connective tissue, I guess. You know what? Joe must have taught him all these things. He must have learned at his lab.
Yep, because we were talking about about working at Packies and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, my buddy from high school was this, that, the other. He's like, what's his name? I probably know him. I'm like, yeah, he was working at the one in Western Mass. He goes, what was his name? I probably know him. So I'm like, it was Joe. He goes, oh yeah, yeah, and then he proceeds to say how the previous owner or whatever, manager, whatever of that is now working at this one. I'm like, are you kidding me? My life gets smaller every day. So that's my big story. I got white girl wasted at a liquor store off of free alcohol, and then met a kindred spirit who has a weird Venn diagram with my life.
These are the times. These are the days of our lives. Man, you need to go visit that guy. I bet he misses you.
Oh, dude! I fully intend to. They do tastings weekly. It's $15 to show up, and then that $15 it transfigures into a $15 gift certificate to the Packy.
Those specific, highly specific liquor memories have done for you what it usually takes 15 years of going to the same bar and ordering the exact same thing usually does. You're now a regular at the tasting academy at that liquor store. That Packy, that's
Yep.
your usual spot now.
That's the thing. Like Leah and I were talking about it, like, yeah, I guess this is our hobby
Yeah,
now.
that's where everybody knows your name, my man.
Yeah, I'm excited for I think March 13th. They're sampling a tequila and hand rolling cigars. Like, this is ridiculous.
It's amazing what kind of deals you can get at spots like that when they're trying to be really legit and like stir up interest in the way that like, your local brewery will just always have like beer heads and like, whoa, how
Yeah,
micro is it? Is it a nano brewery? Oh, I can taste the
yeah.
lupulin or what, uh,
Oh my God! This hop has been dry aged for 47 days, 3 hours, and two
when you
seconds.
don't have any cred, you have to have like the most amazing tap list or you have to have the most generous tasting schedule to get people to respect you and to feel like that's somewhere I want to go to.
But like, that's the other thing. It's not even an establishment. It's a liquor
Yeah.
store. Like, you don't go here to drink, and now they're like, "Hey, you want to come here and drink?"
Well, like
And then buy copious amounts of alcohol. It's like, hell yeah, let's
I think
go.
some of the best bottle shops I've ever been in have been in the back of a Whole Foods. And they just have, yeah, like
Really?
regularly rotating tap lists and a huge selection, but it's in a grocery store. And so they have to be really, really good to stand any chance at all of competing with like, oh, this used to be a barn. It's like, whoa, I would love to go buy an overpriced bottle of wine in the back of your barn. But when it's just like a corner of a grocery store, you have to be good. You can't just be cool and have instant cred.
See, gang, you need to get to know your local haunts for big surprises, kind of like you get to know people through asking and answering weird questions.
Kind of like, kind of.
Boom. Podcast validated. First question of the night, most important one. Connor, how have you been, buddy?
I have been grimy and tired uh,
Oh
because I
no.
have I have a great problem to have. I bought a house, and thank you.
Congratulations.
It needs a lot of fixing up, which is part of how
Sounds like a house you could
Mhm,
afford.
that's part of how we acquired it. And yeah, it's just so much to balance, man. Because there's like we're at this point where we're ripping the walls out and the ceilings are coming down, and now instead of this like 6.5 foot tall drop ceiling office like setup with fluorescent fucking
Yep.
lights, now it's like
Yuck.
just exposed beams and it's down to the studs. And so like now's the time to do everything because everything after this is going to require
Yep.
cutting into that beautiful drywall that we're going to pay to get put in. And so like
Right.
this is the moment. But it's expensive to do these things, and I don't know how to do all of them. I don't know how to do very many of them.
Oh
And I but
no.
I know enough to do some of it and to feel like I could probably do it and like get myself probably into nasty scenarios where I wind up having to like open up the yellow pages and be like, "Hey, Mr. Plumber, could you come rescue me? I'm just a dumb homeowner who tried and failed."
So, are you going to do what I do to get into every single one of my hobbies and interests is fall down a really strange, very specific YouTube rabbit hole? Are you going to find DIY home improvement YouTube and bypass this?
I think no, because the kinds of videos that you find for most home improvement things, or at least that I find when I go looking for them, is very similar to the like I need someone who's worked on a Ford F-150 from 1995 and swapped out the radiator because I'm having trouble with it. And almost always there's like 6 or 7 videos that are not quite the car that you're thinking about. And then you go check those out, and it's someone who's just like, I got a camera and I got a car, I'm fixing it, here you go. And
Yep.
there's nothing that really draws me in about it. Usually these videos are played at like 1.75 speed, and I watch them in 30-second chunks 20 times. So
Okay.
it doesn't ensnare me, I think the way that you're talking about. But if I
Yep.
start thinking about like this is a very old house, what if I wanted to respect the vintage of it and put in things that remind people of old house? I think that would be the end of it. Someone
Okay.
today was like, "Yeah, well, you're gonna want to put some like crown molding in over there, and there's a local millworks place, and they'll walk you through. If you give them the age of the house, they'll like find you something from like around that looks like, and that's like that feels like a whole new life to try to make my house look like it was when it was built 100 plus years
Dude,
ago."
dude, if you want to become the best friend of my partner and loved one, Leah, you know she is all about that shit.
Mm,
All over that, like white on rice.
yeah, I don't think I'm strong enough. I just don't think I could do it. And
Hey, you know what that is? That's humility,
that's
my
me.
man.
Yep.
Understanding your limits. That's an important facet for anybody to have.
Yeah.
Kudos to Udos, my dudos.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so yellow pages are one of the tools that I keep in my home, but not the first one. So that's
Right.
what I've been doing. I come home looking like a raccoon covered in grime, and then I take a nice hot shower.
There's something so satisfying about cleaning up after being dirty and just like watching the soiled water run down the
Hmm.
drain and being like,
Yeah.
yes, I have done work and now I am refreshed. Like I always loved working in charcoal for my art stuff, not because I liked working in charcoal, but because I liked washing my hands
It's
afterwards.
like when you like ram your shin into the corner of your bed and you go to check and there's a bruise and you're like, haha, that did hurt. I knew it. I was injured. I could tell when it happened. And now I have proof. It's like that, but with dirt.
So, fun brew story for you real fast. We got rotisserie chicken for dinner the other night. And I don't know if it's come up on the podcast, but Diego is a fiend for bone-in
Mm.
chicken. That is his interest. So we, I take care of the carcass, everything, whatever. Put it in the compost that we leave on the counter. The cats do not climb the counters
They're good
ever.
cats.
Uh, so we're all good. We leave that, go to bed. So the next day, I'm working, and then I hear rustle, 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 thud, thud. I'm like, that sounds like Diego getting into something that he's not supposed to. And I look over, and he's in the middle of the rug in the kitchen with the rib cage of the bird that he pulled out of the compost. To which I go, Diego, you naughty boy! Run over to him, and he sprints so hard into my shin, he bruised my, or not my shin, my leg.
Whoa.
He bruised my ankle with his skull.
Whoa. He must have been real revved up. Boy, oh boy, that hobby of his,
That
it's getting the better of him.
boy was hot on chicken.
And crime,
So,
chicken crime.
and crime.
That puts some pep in your
The
step.
adrenaline.
That's right.
So other than home reno, then the I guess you're not going on HDTV.
No.
But the Connor TV. Anything else going on in your world,
No,
my
that
friend?
kind of covers me. How you been doing?
So I've been bad, but it's been funny at least. So whereas you are in a good problem to have, I was in a bad problem to have, insofar as I almost got scammed.
Oh, what kind?
So I am in the unfortunate position of job searching because wanting a different job means you need to apply to stuff.
Hate that. Hate that. part.
So I take the patented shotgun method, which is when you apply to everything because you don't care about your job. So the backlash to the shotgun method is you have no idea what you've applied to. So a recruiter or whatever reached out to me about my copywriter position. I'm like, that sounds like something I did. So my desperation made me blind to the fact that the opening email said, "Dear candidate," and was signed Mark when the email was from Robert.
Red flags.
So, trouble is, I didn't miss this for the first one. I didn't miss this for the second one. I caught on it by the third at least. But the first two, I was like, yeah, I'm interested. What's up, baby? Sent me the questionnaire. I filled that fucker out that night, sent it right back off. I'm like, let's go, baby.
What kind of info did they scam out of you? We're talking social security numbers.
That's the fucking crazy thing. No. Because they don't ask any important questions for the first two emails. The questionnaire was just a copywriter position questionnaire.
Ooh, they got you on the hook. They're just giving you a little tug.
Exactly.
Just reeling it
Full
in
thing.
just a little bit.
Yep, and I'm like, yeah, here's work history, here's this crap. Like this is the hardest thing that I ever wrote copy for, and this is how I feel about tools in the industry. Nothing. They didn't want any pertinent information for any of those. And then the next day I get an email that said, "You get the job, congrats." To which I went, "That's a lie. This I didn't get an interview. This is fucking wrong." So the red flags are a flapping in my brain. So that's when I start noticing about the misnamed emails, and then the fact that it's from a website, careers.com. Because I googled the business name that it was, and then like that showed up. I'm like, oh, it's a real thing. It's all legit. Cool. And then I was like, wait, no, that's not the website. There's careers at the end of that. Go to that website, and it's just a blank domain. Bought for because they're using emails, but just blue. And I'm like, okay, because then they're asking like, what's your name, what's your phone number, what's your address, email. Like, you're using my email right now, my dude. I'm sorry, you're a bad scammer. So I left them. I left them on red, did not reply or anything. But then my morality was niggling at the back of my head. So I was like, hey, company that these people are pretending to be, just a quick question. Have we ever talked before? So I get the most confused customer service representative on the phone because I was like, "Hey, my name's Evan, etc., etc. Are you hiring for a copywriter right now?" To which the guy goes, "Wait, are you hiring us or do you want a job?" I'm like, "That's exactly what I wanted to know." Just a heads up, I'm getting scammed in your name.
It's a pretty weird way to open a conversation, to say, "Hey, you didn't offer me a job." No, I didn't.
I'm gonna be honest too, listeners. Our weird questions are much better conversation starters than, "Hey, I'm being scammed, but not by you guys, but someone pretending to be you guys." It's too complex. It's hard to work into a conversation.
Yeah.
So he didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on, but I had to do my part of being like, I mean, if someone's going to be like pretending to be me, I'd want to know about it. Just a heads up. So, it was a weird day, and the worst part about it was like, man, now I'm not getting a job.
All that wasted time, all that effort, all to get no job. Just like every other job application process.
Right? This one was just worse, but at least it ended with me not getting my information taken advantage of. So that's pretty dope. And the only other thing worth noting about my life is I'm now into the adult version of Whippets.
Okay. All right. Please go very slow here for me. Are you talking about the small greyhounds or the illicit use of canisters?
The illicit use of canisters.
Okay. Because I was going to ask you what the adult version of the Whippet dog was, because I feel like those dogs are already for everybody.
Yeah.
So what exactly are you huffing these days, Evan? I should start all of our conversations that way. Hey, Evan, what's the huff?
Right? Ington Post, boom, got him, roasted. So yeah, if you're a lamo like me and don't know what a whippet is, it's when you basically breathe in the CO or like huff the CO2 from a canister to get like high and really melt your brain.
Yeah,
the adult version of that is just squirting whipped cream directly into your mouth, because it gives you the same amount of rush with all of the like bad like life effects down the line towards your health, but in the meantime you're like, yeah, this whipped cream tastes really good.
What are the bad effects of just putting whipped cream right into your mouth? That's a bad thing?
You gotta get fat. It's gonna be just it's sugar and cream.
Yeah, dude.
You're gonna get fat if you do that a lot.
Not the same as getting your brain melted by the worst ratio of high to body damage from whippets. You need to you need a little perspective on this, because getting fat, not as bad as forgetting what words are.
Hey, yeah. Connor, you know when we started doing a fun podcast where like we make jokes and try to entertain people, and then you just take things way too seriously?
No, I don't. No. It doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah. So that's what's going on here. I was just making a joke because I thought a funny thing to do would be like, hey, an adult version of Whippet, it's just having whipped cream.
I'm just
and you're like,
sorry,
do not do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Fucking
don't
narc.
Do drugs. That is important. This is a Dare sponsored podcast.
Do drugs. I don't care.
Do.
Don't let them ruin your. Don't do hard drugs, but like you could do drugs.
Figure it out. Don't do whippets for sure. Whippets are just
don't do whippets. Like that, legit. I was making a joke, but no, that shit's
high out there for you.
Just smoke pot like a normal person.
But I just, man, I guess I'd never thought about squirting the whipped cream right in your mouth as the adult version of it. I thought that was what you were supposed to do. That's like,
no, dude,
much like the dog,
so good
to be enjoyed at every age.
Yeah. I don't know. I've just been buying cans of whipped cream and having myself a little creamy treat every now and then. Now, been really enjoying it.
I've gotten into that habit from time to time, but it's just one of those little joys that I haven't indulged in lately. But I should. That's a nice thing.
Yeah. And you've got the benefit of living on the West Coast where they sell Tillamook stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Tillamook dairy is awesome. If they don't got that. I got President today. That's really nice. That's some really nice whipped cream.
Tight.
Coats your mouth real good. Get all them good flavors.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we come to listeners. Our drugs are food and yelling at each other across the internet for your enjoyment.
Man, I want whipped cream and cherry limeade now.
You could put the whipped cream on. Oh man, you could make a cherry limeade martini and garnish it with whipped cream and a little maraschino.
Stop doing this, man. We've got to talk about something that isn't food. We've got to get on to the question. My stomach is eating itself.
Yum, yum. Oh, dude, I made the most bitchin' nachos tonight.
Stop it. Are you pro olives on your nachos?
I don't like olives. I think they taste like tires. Yeah, I've tried. They're not for me. But what is for me is our first question of the night. Number 68. We keep like our lives one away from greatness. Number 68. Which nondescript item of yours is most sentimental?
Okay, this might be this could be a case of mistaken identity because this one particular thing could be totally different from
Yep.
the original version, but it's an orange pen that I keep in my backpack.
Okay. It is okay, I need more details. Is it orange casing, orange
ink.
in the shape of an orange slice?
That's pretty good. I do like that. I kind of wish it was that, but it's not. It's just an orange gel pen. It writes in orange ink.
Cool. I'm there. I am along for the ride. I am in your sidecar on your motorcade. I'm the Batman. No, fuck. Robin rides in the. Carry on.
I'm on it. Okay, yeah. So I just keep pens with me all the time because once I got my car towed because it was common practice to just leave your car in a particular parking lot in Hampton Beach, and
I was there.
Evan was there for that, and I thought surely I can just get to it tomorrow, and I don't need to write a note like everybody always does. I bet they'll just leave it be. And it was $200 at a time in my life when $200 was a lot of money. So I keep pens around always, but the orange pen that I keep in my backpack in particular, I have because it was just something that me and a couple other friends fought over in high school. And this was like not particularly close friends, but just something that felt important at the time. And we'd like take it from each other. And it was just a nice thing to argue about. And it's just very easy breezy friend artifact.
That's really cool. And yeah, you were a lot more argumentative in high school.
I have calmed down quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I have too. Like, we're older now. It's just kind of how time works. But that's really fun. That's really fun. Are you going to keep it when you use up all the ink?
I'm probably never going to use up all the ink. I don't use it very often. I just more because if I need to write something, orange is not super legible on my paper.
No, it's hard. It's very hard.
And I keep other pens alongside it too. So I never reach for it, but I do see it nestled alongside my other pens. And I go, yeah, huh. And then I actually use a real pen for adults.
That's really good. I like how that works. It's like, honestly, when you said pen, the first thing that I thought of was the purple pen that I found in high school. That one of the people at the grocery store I was working at the time swiped from me.
Nice.
It's just weird how, I don't know, we're just animals that like colors.
It's a nice thing. Yeah. And the swapping and like casual stealing of pens and pencils is just a weird little phenomenon. What about you? What's a mundane little everyday thing that has a lot of sentimental value?
Yeah. I'm sure I've got a lot of things because as Brian Sella once said, emotional baby boy, emotional man, emotional man. I have a bunch, but the one that immediately came to my mind was a pillowcase that I can't use anymore because it is like you can see through it. It is so thin. And it's just like frayed everywhere. And I was thinking about like sewing it up and everything. And Leah looked at me with love in her heart and said, "Evan, get a good fucking pillowcase, please." But the reason I still do have this pillowcase just stored away, it's because it is a pillowcase from my parents' bed when I was a kid. It was their like original sheet. It's this like weird gray plaid looking thing. And I remember like it was always the most comfortable sheets. I don't know, just something about it when I was a kid. I was like, this is the best. This is the best. Because, you know, it smelled like your parents and you're safe. Like, yeah, I'm little. Yeah. This smells great. This is so soft and nice. And I don't know, I guess my parents bought better quality shit for them instead of me, but that's okay. I don't need to remember that now, Mom and Dad. But yeah, I took that from them, I don't know, probably 5 years ago, if not more. And I used it like every night until it was beyond repair, and now I'm like, just gonna hang on to that. And I like, it's not sentimental about like a time or a person. Like, I mean, I guess it is people, but like, there's nothing specific to it. It just is. You dig?
I feel you. And it's funny that you say pillowcase, because I could also name a specific pillowcase that I'm sentimental about.
Really?
I don't have it anymore. Because I didn't like, it wasn't so important to me that I kept it and like used it, but it's just like a navy blue pillowcase that had a stripe of silk that went around up and down. And every now and then my dad would just say some weird stuff, and it would most of it probably I just forgot or ignored. But sometimes he would say a weird thing and it would stick in my head. And I remember one night when I was a kid and he was tucking me into bed, he like referenced the pillow I was using, the pillowcase, and he's like, "Do you know what this is? This is silk." And it like went like a small monologue about how valuable silk has been throughout history. And he's like, "And do you know why you have a silk on your pillowcases? Because I want to take care of you, because you're my son and you're worth it." And like, that's not why I had a little pillow with like a teeny tiny little bit of silk. It was just a weird thing that he said, but the sentiment was really nice, and I remembered it.
That's incredibly
Isn't
sweet.
it? It's nice, and it's like the kind of random weird stuff that you want to hear from your parents when you're a little kid, and just make you feel special.
Yeah, that's really sweet. I have a very different experience because I found my uncle, like, I was watching TV in my uncle's room, and he had his silk boxers on the bed, and I was just like, "Uncle Joe, why do you have silk boxers?" And it was basically the sentiment that your dad was saying about you, but to himself.
Nephew, it's because I'm special and I'm worth it, and I want to take care of myself.
I'm sure it was a lot more like it was that sentiment. I know who he was at that time in both our lives, and it was a lot more crass, but it's so good.
And you know what? That's still nice. I'm glad that your uncle was taking care of himself and giving himself the nice boxers.
Yep. Hey, good for him. And I mean, part of me still thinks that he just bought Joe Boxer because it had his name on it.
That is, there are a lot of disadvantages to being named Joseph, but just like the amount of times that you can find something that just has your name on it, probably one of the big advantages.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm with that. I got no good segues, so let's just go into our next question of the night. Number 79. Connor, you're racing the Iditarod. What are your dogs' names?
Oh, they're definitely going to rhyme. That's a fact. It's a bad idea, because the dogs will get confused about it, because you got to give them two pretty specifically different syllables so they can remember, but I'm going to name them all.
Boom. Easy. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen.
Just a couple of odd rhymes in there.
Okay. So I just... did you have to read anything about the Iditarod as a kid? Or was that just like my weird schooling?
I don't think I read anything about it. I think I got most of my intel from Balto.
Okay. Because my teacher really liked the guy who wrote Hatchet, and he ran the Iditarod. So like we had to read about his experience, and I remember it was very visceral.
Paulsen. I don't know how I know that.
Holy shit! Yeah.
That's so weird.
What is this savant thing that's going on with you right now?
Oh my man, that's crazy. Cool.
You don't remember my birthday, and you know this man's name?
Man, that is wild.
I don't know if I should be impressed or just say fuck you. Hey, Evan, how's it going? Is anything going on in your life as I've been texting you like the past 2 weeks about everything? Gary Paulsen was a children's author who focused on survivalist. Like, what the fuck,
Crazy.
Connor?
I don't know. People must have talked a lot about him when I was a kid because I read Hatchet too. I feel like everybody did. I don't really know why.
Honestly, reading Hatchet as a kid made me like think I was far more prepared for surviving in the wilderness than I, as a 30-year-old man, am.
You know what? It probably, I don't know if if it's a good thing or a bad thing to make kids feel like, yeah, I could probably live in the woods for a couple of weeks.
I guess. I don't know, man. That guy had to kill
He
stuff.
did.
And he was like, he had to hold his breath to go down into a plane.
Yeah, there were a couple like that. It might have been like, it was like far side of the mountain and this side of the mountain. I can't remember which bits come from which, but I remember there was a specific detail about him figuring out arrows and starting with rabbits.
Yeah.
And he just had like dull tips that he would harden in the fire. And that was enough, apparently, because rabbits are just that thin-skinned. But then he wanted to go after
Brittle?
porcupines or
Okay.
something like. Anyway,
Hey, two listeners, did you have to read a lot of survivalist shit as a kid? Are we crazy? Let us know. I don't know if you have comments, but you can comment or send us an email at lemonanswers@gmail.com or find us on social media. I just want to know.
yeah.
I want to know. Please tell
Right.
me.
Anyway,
but yeah,
Iditarod.
looked
This
it up.
ties back somehow to what
You
you would
need-
name your dogs.
Okay, mushers and a team of between 12 and 16 dogs, of which at least 5 must be on the tow line at the finish line. So let's treat this to be as nerdy as fucking possible, like our Pokemon Hall of Fame members. Let's just do 5 names. That way we don't need to burden each other and anybody who gets this question in real life with, give me a dozen dog names that you will be happy with right now.
Okay, here's where I'm at. Hunky, Chunky, Monkey, Skunky, and I feel like I burned through a lot of those names pretty quick.
Oh shit, it was Hunky, Chunky, Monkey, Skunky.
Probably gonna go Donkey.
Donkey. Gunky works for like a really like sick dog.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Donkey. No, you know what? My last dog is gonna be named Mo.
Classic. I was gonna I was gonna go the other end and do since they all end in key. The last one was just gonna be in Keyblade.
Yeah, Hunky,
Yeah,
Chunky,
Mo's
Monkey,
good.
Skunky, and Mo.
Yeah, very good, very good. Do your dogs get into Three Stooges esque shenanigans while on the line?
No,
Is Mo the lead dog slapping other ones to go faster?
Mo would make a great lead dog for sure. But I mean, like my heart tells me that Skunky probably rose through the ranks. That he just got named
Yep.
after leaving a couple of really gnarly farts. But like also is just a very competent lead dog. Probably much the chagrin
Okay.
of Mo.
Yeah. Huh. I like it. I like your dogs.
Yep.
Your dogs are good
Yep.
dogs.
Yep. Hunky is just like the most aesthetically pleasing dog that I've got in the line.
Are you going classic like Saturday morning cartoon rules where their names really do like depict who they
yeah.
are?
Yeah. Like there's a basic dog, like your basic husky, and then like that is all of the background dogs for other people's sleds, but my dogs are just
Yeah.
that plus something.
Is Monkey a chimp in a dog costume? Like you needed one more on your team, and you're like, well, it's gonna pulling the zipper up as you're going to like register. What is your cartoon existence?
Man, I'm tough. This is hard because there's a part of me that's like, how dare you besmirch the integrity of my dog sled team? We win these races honestly. We're not juicing with fake simian energy. But then there's another part of me that thinks, man, that would be really cool if you just had a monkey, like, just in there with a fake mustache worth of husky. and just like going like bark bark, and then every year someone calls me on it and I have to go check the rules again, and it's like, man, the rules don't say what a dog is actually, so really whatever you got.
Just man, one of the episodes, the zipper doesn't go up on Monkey.
Oh, you know what? It's just one, only one person can tell, and the rest of us all pretend like, what are you talking about? Me and my most dire enemy know that Monkey is actually a monkey, and everybody else is just like, Clarence, he just named it Monkey, but it's clearly a dog. You can tell the difference because that one, that one's not a skunk, right? It just smells sometimes. That's why they call it dog, Clarence. Gosh, we're gonna have to re-explain this whole dog thing to you again. And then there's Monkey in the background, like husky costume head off, eating a banana. And then as soon as it's like, oh, look at that. And as soon as everybody else turns around, it's got the face back on. And I go,
That's
and I
really
do
good.
a shoo. Ooh, what a relief.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I figured out my five. I figured out my
All right.
five.
What do you got?
So I am going with dog, Pero, Inu, Chien, Canum. Or Canis? Canid? What is the Latin?
Canis.
Okay. Got it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna call them dog
Dog.
in different languages.
I like it. Okay, and so dog I know, and you did ask me for the Latin, so I know that one probably. Pero also,
Uh,
if I'm not mistaken, pero more specifically.
I'm white. I'm not rolling my R's. I'm not gonna try to speak what I can't speak.
All right, all right. Well, and then Chien. What language
Yeah.
is that?
That's Francais.
Ah,
I only know that one because I took 4 fucking years of it and I don't remember a thing. Do you know how far I needed to just reach into my brain to get Chien?
I honestly, man, I knew you in high school. I saw you take those French classes. I don't think of you as someone who knows French at all.
I feel like you saw me and Joe wandering the hallways more often than you saw us in French.
Yeah. What kind of a class was that woman running? Anyway.
I love that woman so much.
Oh yeah.
I adore her. She's a great human being.
Sure. Yeah.
So the last one is Inu.
Inu. Okay, so that's got to be Japanese, right? As in Shiba
Yeah.
Inu. Got it. Nice.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's how I know that
What
one.
does Shiba mean?
What does Shiba mean Japanese? Japanese word Shiba means brushwood.
The brushwood
because I got the
dog.
coarse hair.
Oh,
Oh, that's so
I
cute.
love that.
Oh, what's the other? There's Shiba Inu and there's something else Inu, right?
I don't know.
That's the two dogs.
But I did recently
Where's
learn
it-
a different dog fact I would like to share with you.
Yes, dog fact time. It's time for the dog facts. We're a dog fast podcast.
So,
Dogs.
there's a specific gene that will give dogs white coloring on their chest and their paws and the tip of their
Yep.
tail. And if you have one of them, that's
Cute.
what that does.
Is it called the cutie pie gene?
No, but it should be. If the dog has two of those genes, then they're very, very white. And I think probably more likely to
Okay.
have just like a couple of spots of something else. Or maybe that it might
Okay.
be that you just get a bunch of white spots. Anyway, but if you've just got the one, it gives dogs the socks and the white on the chest and the white just on the tip of the tail, which both of my dogs have. And I also learned that the name for the specific white patch of fur on the tip of some dogs' tails is shepherd's lantern,
Oh.
because when they're going after the sheep at night, sometimes the only thing you can see is just the little white tip on
Is it
their
in
tail.
From the moonlight. That's so cute.
Isn't that so good?
Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
Oh, shepherd's lantern.
Shepherd's lantern.
Man. I feel like Shepherd's Lantern translated into another language would also be another very good dog name.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something like probably Japanese or German, where like they turn multiple words into one.
I like it. That sounds nice. Man,
Very
if only
good.
one of us spoke
Well,
another language. But I took Latin and you took
you took
French.
Latin.
Kinda.
I took French, and then I took Latin in college, and I don't know shit for shit.
Did you really? I didn't know you took Latin in college. Huh.
Yeah, I had to take a
Yeah.
language, so I took Latin because I thought it would help my English, like the grammar and
Hmm.
shit. It did not.
I'll say 4 years of it was helpful, but yeah, 1 year in college probably not so much. And I took a couple years of Irish in college, but don't retain a whole lot of that. Don't think I ever learned what
Yeah,
dog
I
means, or shepherd, or lantern for that matter.
honestly, the language that I know most outside of English would probably be Spanish from what I learned from the dishwashers when I was a bartender.
Yeah, I
Because we would trade. We would teach each other. I'd teach them English. They'd teach me
well,
Spanish, and we'd carry on with our lives.
I'm continuously surprised how much Spanish I know when I've never tried to learn it even, but just like a little bit of osmosis and enough of, I think maybe Latin might help, but it's
Yep.
surprisingly easy for me to get the gist of like warnings and directions in Spanish. A
Yeah.
lot easier to read it than it is to hear it. That not so much.
Yeah. Well, you've got to think. You've got the understanding of the
Hmm.
characters with your eyes as opposed to the sounds with your
Sounds a lot
ears.
tougher, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
in my corner we've got Hunky, Monkey, Chunky, Skunky, and Mo battling
Yes.
against Dog the dog, Sheba the Sheba, Canis the Canis. And then we've got Perro.
we're all friends. We're all friends here.
What was the French one again?
We're all friends
Chien?
here. Chien.
Nice. Man, that doesn't sound French at all.
All right. It
I,
is. It
oh, I
is.
yeah, I'm not doubting you. Just wouldn't have been my first guess.
The only advice that I can give is if you're saying cat, put a masculine whatever the thing is denominator in front of it, because if you do the lady one, it means lady bits. That was uproarious for a bunch of high schoolers.
That is important. An important lesson, and also impossible to teach high schoolers in a serious way.
Yep. Yep. All right, Connor, let us move along. Move along. And I want to know, what conspiracy theory are you starting?
Hey,
I know it is times bound. Like, everybody wants the next hot thing, and the next hot thing is conspiracies. We got deep states, we got flat earths, we got moon projections, there's 3 Connors living in your closet right now.
yeah, they're hungry. You should definitely leave them a snack.
They like pizza rolls and beer.
They do
Dog,
love both of those things.
not to fucking derail, but did you see that Totino's has made a breakfast pizza roll?
I think I don't know. Man, this is another one of those food things. I think I might have tried one.
To listeners, you should see his eyes right now. He is looking into 1,000 yards away, trying to find the truth of the universe
Why
right
the fuck do
now.
I have Gary Paulsen at the tip of my fingers at all times? But I can't remember the things that I have eaten personally.
The types of specifically one of my favorite foods, I cannot remember if I have
Damn.
consumed. Because I'm going to be straight with you, bud. I was shopping at the Stop and Shop, and I saw them. I'm like, oh, shit, do I buy these so I can have some on hand just in case Connor fucking shows up? In case he's never tried this before?
Maybe I haven't.
I didn't purchase
You
it.
know what? You didn't?
No, but I can run out if you need me to.
I'll keep an eye out. Maybe my local grocery store will carry it. You know what? I think I have it. I think I'm just confusing the fact that I've tried Taco Bell breakfast. Anyway,
Okay.
conspiracy. Have we? Is this one of our?
Yes.
Is this our first question that we're using a second time?
No.
Okay, I think we've done
We done urban legends, dude.
totally distinct, very different answer.
Gary motherfucking Paulsen.
Okay.
Podcast that you've been on for a year and a half.
Yeah. Okay.
Questions we've been asking for a decade now.
Okay.
No, we don't have we known each other for a decade? How old are
New
we?
conspiracy theory
When did we
is
meet?
that in honor of Gary Paulsen, new conspiracy theory is Gary Paulsen forcibly put children into the wild and studied them for realism.
Hatchet's not fucking fictional. It's just an abstract to a scientific paper.
Yeah, well, the thing is, there's no proof of it, of course, because none of the kids that he put in the wild actually survived. But they did all, like, most of them came up with a couple of things. And if you read the books closely, he's too specific. You can't just, you cannot use your imagination to come up with these specific details. He must have seen children do these things. And it's just an amalgamation of a couple of dozen children that he abducted, put into the woods with like a couple of random tools around just to see how they might play out in fiction.
If you take the cover of Hatchet with the boy's face on it, you can paste over missing children's adverts
Right on the milk cartons.
and they make the face.
That's right. That's right. It's little Sally's ears, little Johnny's nose. He couldn't resist. He made the child that he put on the cover of Hatchet. Probably isn't one. It's probably just a hatchet. But he made the children on Hatchet out of the children that he put into the woods.
All I know is he's in the pocket of Big Scholastic. That they you know why they were bringing the book sales to the schools all over the country. It wasn't to get kids to learn. It was to get new specimen for Paulsen himself.
That's right. Yeah, it's hard to say who was in charge really, because Scholastic certainly, like, they published his books. He made a lot of money for Scholastic, but he had appetites. It wasn't easy to keep Gary Paulsen happy. Mostly what he wanted, more children to study in the wild.
I can't riff anymore. I got nothing. This is too
Just
real.
you wait.
This is just facts
One
now.
of these days, Scholastic is going to cash in on all of that. Ooh, childhood nostalgia. Oh, the best day was this book fair coming to school. And you don't know it. It's just a whole generation of Manchurian candidates. We
How
all
about
have
that?
activation words.
They're all Hatchet. Oh boy,
Gary Paulsen. But
Gary Paulsen.
but secondarily, some people say it's worth it. That's the worst thing. You know, when people really do see the truth, they're like, yeah, but it's such a good book. Those are the real sickos. Gary Paulsen,
Bastards.
Gary Paulsen, he was obviously mad. But the people who support him and enabled him, the real bastards.
I'm looking at you, 4th grade elementary teacher. Oh, what is my conspiracy theory? Man, I know I had one when I wrote this. It's been years. All right, so my conspiracy theory is one that I've had for years, and that is actually like shared with my admittedly insane grandmother. So my mother's mother has been seen as a fucking bat case while she was alive forever by my mother, her family, myself
I
included.
love this already. It already has so much like false prophet, or like Cassandra, she knew the truth, but nobody believed her.
But there is one thing that she said that we all agreed on is that we're all dead and we're in hell right now.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And like it's coming from a Christian, Catholic, whatever background. But it makes sense to me when I look at the stuff. It's because, it's like the classic question. Why do babies die? If there's a benevolent God, why do blood? It's because we already fucked up. Like, I care less about those big questions of like, is there a God? Like what is the afterlife like? It's because I know there is, and we're in it. I want to know, what did I do in my real life that got me here? What did I do, die, and am in hell now because of?
Okay.
That's what I want to know.
All right. Now I've got a couple of follow-up questions. Are all of us in hell, or is it just like?
Yes.
Okay, so all the people around us, these are people in hell.
We're all
They're
in
not
hell.
demons. There's got to be a handful, right? Like, we're in hell unless they're just spectating. Like, we're in the gladiatorial arena of hell, and the demons are just like letting it happen.
Well, according to our sophomore year English teacher, it is confirmed that based on the grades that I received for my papers, human beings are inherently evil.
Yes.
So my understanding with my conspiracy theory is that we are in hell, and hell is just letting people off being people, like unrestrained.
Okay.
And we're just getting.
But we're all the bad people.
We're all the bad people.
So there were good people in life before now.
Yes, that we don't know.
Okay.
And they're in heaven or whatever. And we fucked up, and now we're here. And our punishment is just to live with each other.
Okay. All right. So hell, people are inherently evil, and that that must be true because all the inherently evil people got separated out and put here, which is why that's the way that is. Okay. This is not purgatory. We're not. No half measures.
No, there's no redemption.
All right. So we already failed the purgatory.
We're Dracula, dead and loving it.
Okay. All right. And so the Garden of Eden, there's like we're 2 Gardens of Eden away. That if like assuming that is true, that there was Adam and Eve, and they failed and went to regular life, and then we were there, but we fucked up there also. So now we're in hell, and we're
hear me out. The Garden of Eden is the metaphor for the life that we used to live. And Adam and Eve is like the concept of humanity and like in that existence. And now eating of the apple is doing something so fucking bad that you get sent to hell in our reality where we are.
Okay, so there was an Adam and Steve was a cool guy who just didn't go to hell. Unlike Adam and Eve.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. God, I appreciate you turning like shitty Catholic homophobia into fun conspiracy theory. Thank you for doing one better.
What they've all been saying this whole time was it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. How dare you say that Steve was as awful as the rest of us? He was nice.
Steve was so
Steve
good.
Was great.
He loved his husband so dearly, and that's why he's in heaven right now.
He was too good for this world. That's why he's not here.
Which is hell.
Because he's in heaven instead. Okay. And so like minimal demon interference in this conspiracy theory.
In what we are riffing off of in this conversation that we're having based off a weird question, hell fucking yeah we are.
Okay. And why are there still treats? I should like pizza rolls should not be in hell.
No, it's the classic. There can be no like shadow cannot be cast without light, says Mickey Mouse in Kingdom Hearts. Like we need to know what like the cool refreshment of water to feel the burning heat and dehydration of the
You
desert.
know who I think would argue with you about that?
No, and I don't care.
Tantalus.
I don't know who
You
that
have
is. He sounds like a
you have
nerd.
awakened my 4 years of Latin schooling.
Oh, oh no!
Tantalus.
Fucking Pee Wee Herman.
Tantalus was the
Ah!
he like did something unspeakably terrible. Like I don't know if he was the guy who made Zeus eat his baby or something. Like dude, they were just the people who got punished in Greek myth, the worst people. Every
Yeah.
time you're like, man, I just don't know if you should be make that guy roll the hill, rock up the hill for all of eternity.
I'd say, wait, except for Hephaestus, right?
Hephaestus didn't get punished. He just got thrown out of heaven by his mom because he was ugly.
No, who am I thinking of? Who's the guy who stole fire?
Ooh, that's a good one. Prometheus. There
Prometheus.
you go. Yeah, Prometheus was chill. He didn't deserve it, but he also wasn't human.
Yeah, and he got his. Oh, so all the humans who did
Yeah, I
shit
think so.
in
Yeah,
myth were really, really
awful.
bad.
Anyway, I don't know what Tantalus did, but
Okay.
his curse was
Anyway.
forever to stay in this pit and be cursed with thirst and hunger. And dangling above him was a ripe, delicious vine of grapes. And every time he would reach for it, it would retract. And like sitting around him was beautiful, clear drinking water. And every time he would try to bring his mouth to it, it would recede. So he was constantly surrounded by the things he wanted, but never able to get them, which I think would be worse.
Yeah, but he knows the difference. Like he had a treat at one point in
That's
time.
true. That's why being Tantalus is so hard because he used to get treats. He used to get treats, and now he can't.
You know, it's a treat for me at the end of this podcast. And you know how we get to the end of this podcast? By asking our fourth and final question of the night, Connor. You ready for it?
I am.
Are you ready for it, my
I'm here.
man? I just don't want to talk to you about myths anymore.
Okay. Oh no. Yeah, my other 4 years of schooling.
Oh no. We just got to keep it snappy for the fans. All two of them. Last question of the night. Still an oldie, but hopefully a goodie. Number 10. What's the most memorable moment you got out of reading a book? Nerd alert.
Okay.
Nerd alert. Fucking nerd alert.
Man, I can't remember why this hit me so hard, but I do have one moment in particular from a Hans Christian Andersen myth.
Sign me
Sorry.
up. Ugly
Now
Duckling.
you have to.
I don't know
I guess
what else
it's
he's
more
got.
like a fable or a fairy tale. So yeah, this is an exception. I'm not going to talk to you more about myths. I'm going to talk to you about fairy tales.
Anyway.
Man, I don't know. It's really fuzzy because Gary Paulsen is right there haunting my nightmares.
God.
I can never forget about Gary Paulsen because he's the devil incarnate.
We have so many good things to talk about and memories that are worthwhile, and they're all shafted for one G. Paulsen.
And I don't remember.
Ridiculous.
I don't remember the plot, and I don't remember why it meant so much to me. But it's something like this is the fairy tale that Frozen was based off of.
Yeah.
Like so barely. I think really the only thing that it's based off of is the fact that in the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale, there was also ice.
Okay. Sure.
But there was just this real nice guy who was doing his very, very best in the fairy tale world, and he was just good and decent and a-okay. And he fell deeply,
Yep.
deeply in love with someone. And she was fantastic also. And I think he was cursed with the knowledge that she would be unfaithful to him in the future.
Okay.
And there was nothing he could do about it. And I think, cursed with that knowledge, I think that he opted to engage in some kind of heroic sacrifice And he wound up dying rather than living the life where his dear, sweet love was unfaithful to him. And it broke my fucking heart because I liked this guy. It's one of the longer fairy tales that I had read in that collection, but it wasn't all that
Yeah.
long. It's probably like a 20-minute read. But man, he just seemed so cool. He just seemed like such a nice guy. And I was so glad that he was in love with this lovely person. And he just couldn't live to suffer the heartbreak of losing her. And he died.
Wow.
What about you? Is yours also
No, no,
deeply
that's
profound?
no. I know these lead to conversation, but it's just yeah. Yours is a gut punch. It's very. It's just a bummer. It's just a freaking bummer,
There's
man.
something in like any other format for a story, I'd be like, well, of course he could do something about it. Like he can talk to his wife and
Yeah.
like they can work through whatever it is that's gonna drive her away. Like now he knows the future, he can change it. But it was a fairy tale. So it was just unquestionable. That's
Hey Hans, what lesson are you trying to teach people here,
Fairy
man?
tales aren't very good at teaching lessons. They're really just like stories and then like and what do you think about that?
I think, dang, man, I think communication is important in a relationship. Talk to your loved ones, damn.
Yeah,
I I I feel like it's probably when did you read this?
college,
What age?
college. I think I was 20,
College.
21.
I feel like it's helped shape who you are as a partner to your wife.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably why I wake up every day and tell her that I would die if I was convinced that she would cheat on me eventually.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Good morning, honey. Just so you know, you own my heart. And also, there's a woman out there somewhere, and her heart is made of ice, and she's not a fan of mine.
Hello, hello, dear. I'm home from work. Have you fucked someone else? If so, I will commit suicide.
Just so you know.
Damn. Shit. Emotional manipulation. So, I have a memorable experience, and it's, I would argue, far more
Oh,
positive than
good.
yours.
All right. Nice. Nice. Good. Yeah. I'm glad I went
Uh,
first, so we can finish the podcast on
we
on a
we can end
different
we can
note.
end on a high
Yeah.
note.
Yeah.
So let us suspend our disbelief and believe that I read a book at one point in my life.
Whoa.
So
Weird.
at this juncture, it also happened to be the book Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson,
Ooh.
the first book in a trilogy of trilogies that, if I were to be literate, would really fucking enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah. Gosh, that would be great for you. You would
Uh,
love them.
Yeah, I mean they got like magic and coins and like cowboys. It's great.
What more could you ask for?
So, anyway, so I read the first Mistborn, and it was also like you in college time. And what I like to do for fun in college, and I guess still to these days, hi Mike, I love you, is hang out with my buddy Mike and talk to him about media because he has an interesting brain and it makes my brain go ooh and have new thoughts. So he introduced me to Mistborn and was like, let's chat about it. So it was over some break, and I was like at the end of Mistborn. My girlfriend at the time had come over, and she's like, "I want to play Assassin's Creed." So I like taking care of a child. I set up the TV and I left them to their devices. So I was like, I'm almost done with this book. I'm gonna go finish this real fast. So I finished the first Mistborn book, and Connor, if you have read the book, I know you
Mhm.
have. There's a big fucking twist at the end,
That there is.
to which I immediately without saying anything to the person in my home with me, called Mike and proceeded to talk to him for anywhere from 30 to 60 minutes about Mistborn. The best part about this is that Mike was over his friend Andrew's house and did the same fucking thing that I did to her to Andrew
awesome.
to talk to me about the ending of Mistborn.
Excellent. Very good.
So, I don't really remember the end of Mistborn, but God, I remember Mike and I ditching people that we cared about to talk about a book because we cared about each other too.
Reading Mistborn is so much better than Assassin's Creed.
Oh, without
By
a doubt.
far. You made the right choice.
Yeah. I've played part of one Assassin's Creed game. You know how many Mistborn books I've read if I were literate?
All of them?
Except for the last one that came out in the Wax and Wayne series.
That's pretty good. That's quite a few.
That's a lot. That's a lot for someone who's literate, I think.
The long books. Wax and Wayne, not so long, but yeah, man, Brandon Sanderson does good work.
Dude, I've told you about my experience with Bands of Mourning and the spoiler that comes after it, right?
No.
Hey, two listeners, if you care about Mistborn stuff, skip from now until, I don't know, probably like, say, minute and a half. So Wax and Wayne, I was like, oh, I know it's a trilogy. Bands of Mourning is the third book. I didn't know that Alloy of Law was a prequel to the trilogy, that there's actually 4 books in the Wax and Wayne. So I was like, oh, I'm at the end of this. So I read the whole frickin' thing over 2 days because I was reading it at work. This is why I don't read, because when I do, I don't do anything else. I was like, I need to keep my fucking job. So I read the whole thing in 2 days, found out that Kelsier was still alive, and then read the entire secret history the next day again at work.
Right. That's awesome. And also, I cannot believe you pronounced that guy's name Kelsier.
Yep. I've said it as a joke too many times, in that it is the same as raccoon, progress, arthritis, Kelsier.
Diabetes.
Nope, I say diabetes.
All right. Raccoon is also mind-bending to me. I can't believe. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I still need to know how he's alive.
Yeah! Fucking yeah!
Still doesn't make any friggin' sense, because they did a really good job of saying he's not alive. Really not. Very conclusive.
I know. For another deep pull that's specific to you, Connor, it feels very skullduggery pleasant, where it's just hate. He just hated so hard that he's just not dead.
I think you might be right.
Yeah. That shit was cool, man. That shit was so fucking cool.
Okay. Welcome back to the room, two listeners who don't want spoilers. So glad to have you here again.
Sorry if I gave you a bad guess beforehand. Timestamps will be in the description below. We'll figure it out. It's all good. We're all good.
Get it in post. Easy thing for someone to say
who
doesn't do any editing.
Fuck you. You know what's good, Connor? This podcast. Yeah. We made it to the end of it. You didn't need to listen to this far, but you did, and we appreciate it. If you want, you can hang out with us socially online. How you want to do that is up to you. You've got options. You can shoot us an email to get your questions asked and answered. Send us your answers, or just, I don't know, fan mail. You can be really nice. That'd be swell. Don't do anything mean. At
lemonanswers@gmail.com.
That is lemonanswers@gmail.com. If you want to see our very average faces and see our very funny humor, you can check out our social media. We're online at...
The answer is a lemon.
The answer is a lemon. Help out your boys. Spread the love, whether that's a 5-star review on your podcast listening avenue of choice. Tell your friends. Either way, appreciate you. Love you. Bye.
So long.